Morning all. How are we all doing? Back at it again for another week. So this one is a request. Boston to New York. Not a particularly long flight, but seeing as I am practicing with my throttles in a different position, moved them from my left hand side to my right hand side, so I'm sort of in like the captain's position now. That means I have to fly on final approach if I've got one hand on the throttle. I've kind of got to fly with my left hand on the yoke, which is really weird. I've been practicing off stream and it still feels weird. So chances of a go around today are high, which is just as well we're doing a short flight because we'll have plenty of time for the go arounds. Plus it might make the stream a bit more entertaining. Could I do a step-by-step with the startup and DMC, please? For the 737? Hey, Bevy! How you doing? We were just saying the other day, where's Bevy? We missed you. You like go-arounds. Well, this is the stream for you. Boy, oh boy, have I got the stream for you. Right, let's hop in. So, I fiddled the time, just because otherwise it's going to be pitch black. I've wound the time forward by about an hour and a half, so we're sort of in the early stages of morning. It's about 6 AM, just before. Yeah, good, cheers, Bevy. All good. Hope you're doing well. What gate? Let's have a look. I didn't actually check. And it doesn't say, does it? Basically, runway 15 right is up here. Oops. So we're just around the corner. Runway 15, which is where we'll be taking off from. Right. Shall we get started? Get the battery on. Guarded. Position light is already on steady. APU on. APU start. Do we have ground power? Get the navs on. Just hear the APU starting to come to life. There we go. So now we're running off of the APU's power. That's what these two switches do. Then when the time is right, we'll use the outer two switches to say use the main engines instead once they're fired up. Okay, your dampener. Fuel system, our crossfeed is closed. Would be a terrible idea to fuel the plane. Just trying to see how much we need. $6,445. kilograms, which is 30%. Let's get the fuel pumps on. And these two are going to show a low pressure warning because there's no fuel in the center tank. Emergency lights, armed and guarded. Do the passenger signs. Window heat up top. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's test that they'll work. Yes, they do. Born in Europe. And hydraulics A and B. Make sure these are all on. Get the packs onto auto for the aircon. Isolation valve is already on open, and we'll get the APU bleed on as well. Oh, sorry, AV Geek. Maybe once it's all done, scrub it back and watch it bit by bit. Okay, down to here in the FMC. Let's do our pause in it. We'll go to the next page. Grab one of these two, either left or right GPS. That then puts that in the scratch pad down in the bottom. Go back to our previous page, and now we can paste it in to here. Now the plane is happy, it knows where it is. APU gens, so start the APU using this switch here, make sure it's in the start position, then flick these two switches, 1 and 2, the two like middle ones. This panel tells the plane where to get its power basically, so you can either use ground power if it's available, or like I did, use these two middle switches once the APU is started. Once this blue light is illuminated, that tells you that it's ready. Flick these two switches, then power will be drawn from the APU. Once we've gone through the setup a bit further and our main engines are started, we can turn the APU off and then flick these two on the outside down, and that tells the plane to take its power from the main engines, not the APU. So it's like a little switching board really. It's like, are we going to use APU or are we going to use the engines? Or are we going to use ground power? Hey Ashi! Good morning to you. Alright, we've done pausing it. Let's do our route. KBOS KJFK. Activate. Execute. Then departures and arrivals. Departing from 15 right. And we're going to use SOX 6. I guess that'll be the Boston Red Sox that's named after, I presume. Now for our arrival, we're not going to arrive back in Boston, we're going to arrive in JFK, all being well. Runway 13 left. And we use Parch 3. Go via Say. Good, there's the route. Let's check that it's a good route. And it's not weird, as it could be. Let's press the legs button. Alright. So here's us pointing the wrong way at the moment, because obviously we're at the gate, but we're going to take off, almost immediately turn to the left. Need to be above 3,000 feet by Barrow. Or Barrow. Should be no problem at all. And 250 knots. Rover. There's JFK. Okay, that makes sense. So, important note here. Once we get to the waypoint JFK, so we're sort of going to come down Long Island, heading west, southwest-ish. We'll get to the waypoint JFK. Then it's up to us to kind of vector ourselves around. You see there's a vector in here, which basically means we're on our own for navigation. The plane, if left to its own devices, will just carry on this line forever. But of course we're going to vector ourselves around to Telex. That should work. And then we've got our go around procedure. 4,000 feet out to DPK. Then we hold at DPK. If we were on VATSIM, I guess we would hold there until further instruction, or if we were given instruction prior to DPK, we would do as we're told. Okay, that looks good. That does look good. Happy with that. Let's do some init-ref stuff, shall we? Init-ref, perf init request. So this is using my Simbrief flight plan to pull in all of this data. Save me doing it. And load. Execute. What's the cruising altitude? 240. Got a big old runway, so flaps 5 is absolutely fine. 140, 142, 151. Set our trim to 477. That's roughly it. So now we've done our perf init request, you notice all of these values are filled in. And again, it's one of those where we're up to 240, we're not at 240 very long, and then we're descending. Which reminds me, put 240 up here for our pressurization panel. Elevation at JFK, I mean, it's basically at sea level, isn't it? Because it's right on the sea almost. 13 feet according to what I have in front of me, so I will just leave landing altitude at 0. 13 feet's not going to make or break anything. I mean, it's like a step ladder, isn't it, really? Alright, what's local pressure? So what I've done is, you can see I've got live weather, but I've moved the time, so it's 5 to 6 in the morning nearly. Obviously if you don't do live weather, everything just defaults to 29902. Which, while it will give us a nice easy flight, it's a bit boring. Kind of like the live weather, just to mess with me a little bit. 29988. There we go. Flight directors, 1 and 2. Auto throttles off, so our speed setting will do V2 plus 15. V2 was 151, so we'll do 166. Get LNAV armed. Runway heading is 150. Altitude. I mean, if we're going to VNAV it, aren't we? So might as well split 250. If we were on that sim, we might be doing things a bit differently, because probably would be told what to do more than just letting VNAV do the whole thing for us. But today we'll relax and let VNAV do it. Let's get the auto brakes to rejected takeoff. Set the parking brake. And this one in standby. So, for the most part, we are there. Ready for a pushback. Flight plans loaded. Obviously, we've got a few warning lights up here yet, but we haven't fully configured the aircraft yet. Yeah, the engines aren't started. A little bit more to do, but we are ready for a pushback. So, let's lose the jetway, shall we? And let's remove our wheel chops. Good. So, plan for pushback, given that we are taking off from 15 right, which is this one here. Pushback would be sensible to get our tail back here, I think. Ah, yeah, it's hot yesterday, Europe, wasn't it? Oh, wrong button. SLTL. Pre-plan our pushback, shall we? It's going to get hotter, isn't it, Europe, this week? So I'm told. Which I'm not a big fan of, not going to lie. Can do without that. Yeah, I don't do so well in the heat either. It's tricky because the shed I'm in, really, really well insulated. So when I first come into it on a hot day, it's like almost like a cool box. Like it's been keeping the heat out all day, then I come in, turn on my air extraction system, so I've got one fan that draws the hot air out of the shed and another one that pulls air from the outside in. But if the air outside is 30 degrees, then all of a sudden it becomes 30 degrees in here as well, which is not the greatest. Can't tell if serious, Rob. Alright, let's get engine 2 into ground. My bad, I had the aircon packs on wrong. Alright, what have I done wrong? Got an engine fail warning. What have you done? Ah, that'll do it. I had the packs in auto, I need them in off. Okay, let's oops. Try that again, shall we? There we go. That's better. I had my aircon packs messed up. Obviously the air conditioning in a plane, it kind of draws air off of the engines. So it will bleed the air off of this engine, bypass air, cool it down and then pass it into the passengers. But of course to start the engine, I need them to be off. Let's add some fuel. Good, there goes tug. So that start switch has gone back into its default positions. Get this one into ground mode. Engine 1. See it come into life here. Oh, you actually like it? Okay, fair enough. Here goes the other one. Get our flaps set. I've been in contact with my brother-in-law this morning, who's an aircon engineer. Maybe time for an AC unit. Alright, engines are good. So now we can take our power from the engines instead of the APU. Sort out the probe heat. Now we can get our aircon packs back into auto. Isolation valve into auto. Don't need the APU bleed anymore because the engine's started. We can turn off the APU as well. Alright, I'm not seeing any warning lights, so that's good. Let's get our taxi light on. We'll do runway turn off. Figure it can't hurt. Strobes on. Good. I think we're good. I think that's everything. Oh, let's get some stats. There we go. And the cam. There we go. Still feels horrifically awkward. Flying like this. Hey, morning, James. Oh yeah, you saw that, huh? That was a bit of a curveball, wasn't it? I will be posting a video with my thoughts. Hopefully all of our add-ons still work, because that would really suck, wouldn't it? Can't see that they would. That would be really short-sighted. I mean, the way I sort of see it, like, the tills need to keep ringing, basically, don't they? If you're a Sobo and you've got a team of rather expensive developers to keep employed, where am I going? Am I getting lost here? It would appear I am. I need to go left here. They confirmed it this morning. They will. Brilliant. Haven't read that yet, but yeah, like, that would be absolute suicide if they said no, none of your stuff's gonna work. I mean, it really feels like an expansion, an enhancement. But from their point of view, they can't be sat around with like devs on payroll releasing free world updates for the next 8 years. It makes sense, I think, that they're going to do a bigger update and charge for it, because if they don't get paid, the sim goes away. It's quite a good idea from their point of view. This is always the trouble when I was on the App Store. I developed apps and put them on the App Store. It's always the trouble is that people would expect free updates for life, and it's like, well, it's a bit unreasonable to pay like £1 for something and then you expect me to be there doing like updates 20 years from now for that same £1. It's a whole new game, but I think in spirit I think it's going to be more like an add-on, but it's a whole new game, if I'm making sense. I like what they're doing with the career mode. I've kind of said from the beginning, I think that it needs more of that, really. It's okay for us. I mean, I'm quite happy spawning at a random airport and going for a flight. But the more casual player, they need something a bit more, I think. Right, let's just hold here for a sec. Let's put our engines into continuous. Get our landing lights on, ready for takeoff. Strobe lights are... What's going on here? Oh, they're on. Let's put the weather radar on. Arm the auto throttle. Might as well arm VNAV while we're here. Get that transponder into TARA. Not that it's make a lot of difference for us, but it'll stop the plane yelling. Good. I think that'll do us. So we'll try and fly the first little bit by hand. Morning, Nick. Yeah, I think there needs to be more like a campaign almost, like missions, career. So what they're doing, I think, is right on the money. Because I think a lot of people that aren't really into this sort of game properly, like to the extent that perhaps some of you are that are watching, yeah, maybe they'll do a couple of landings, a couple of takeoffs, and sort of leave it at that. But if there was like a narrative, if there was a career, like a progression system, I could see how that would maybe draw in a more casual player. So, good call. Alright. I think we're good. Don't think I've forgotten anything, though. Surely have. We'll soon see if we get an alarm when we start takeoff. I don't know, Nick. It depends if we get down without issue in JFK, because I'm flying left-handed again. I've moved my throttles over this side. Yeah, to be honest, Rob, I did kind of think of you when I saw it. I thought, actually, that might be something you might enjoy, as opposed to what we're doing here. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people, and a lot of other people I spoke to, when it first came out, they were like, oh, it looks really good, and then it's like, yeah, but it's a bit boring, isn't it? So I think if there's something, you know, like rescuing people from an oil rig, or rescuing people from the side of a mountain, I think it needs all of that stuff. I would love it if there was like a flight school. So if you sort of turn up as a rookie, have a little go in a Cessna, get your license, go through your tests, and then keep moving up through the planes. And they actually teach you about the planes bit by bit in like a nice little piecemeal sort of way. And then before you know it, you could be flying something like this with a little certificate and stuff. Start doing flights. Maybe get paid virtually. I don't know. There's lots of stuff could be done. There's lots of stuff. I think like the first few years they've been building the platform essentially, getting it up to spec. And yeah, now I think they can start fleshing it out with things that they're doing. So 2 thumbs up from me. Anyway, let's get our yoke forward and get out of here. Yoke back.
Rotate.
Up and away.
Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. Okay, so far so good. So we need to be at least 3,000 feet by the next waypoint, which we've just achieved. That's good. Flaps are being retracted. Alright, let's go. Got a little chicane coming up. Slightly out to the right on this one. Nice little route out of Boston. This is quite interesting. I like it when you've got a nice few twists and turns. Coming up on 10,000 feet, so we'll need to remember to do our landing lights. There we go. Autopilot engaged. What does it do? Excellent, we're doing well. Hey, no worries, James. I appreciate it. Oh, hey, Beluga. Long time? Well, feels like a long time. Alright, let's switch the cam out for the map, shall we? Coming up on transition altitude shortly. There we go, so there's the waypoint SOX, which represents the end of our SID, Standard Instrument Departure, i.e. the proper way to leave Boston, or one of the proper ways. Cheers, Beast Boy. Appreciate it. So top of climb coming up. How long are we going to be at top of climb? I mean a little while. 20 miles, 35, 25. Let me start coming down. Yeah, that's okay. Alright, transition altitude has been passed. I always forget that it's 18,000 in America. I'm so used to it being like 6. Usually, anyway. I wish I could get my landing gear into the neutral position. For whatever reason, I can't do that. I don't know why. Very strange. Anyway. Yeah, I'll buy MSFS. Basically, I'll buy the new sim. Can't speak this morning. Should be good. Is it me, or did that video that they showed look like it had an enhanced graphics system? I don't know if you noticed on the tarmac, I think they're in Portugal or something. There's like an A330 sort of at the gate, and it had been raining, and then you can really see the reflection of the plane in the rain. Just read your comment from the top, Beluga. Sorry, I missed it. Am I here again to amaze you? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see how the landing goes. So we're flying left-handed today. Second time doing it. Feels really weird. I don't like it at all. Everything's looking pretty good up here. Top of climb. Engines rolling back. So yeah, here's top of descent. And then we sort of come down across Long Island. You never know, Nick. Like I've said from the beginning of this channel, I've never claimed to be an expert that should sit here and lecture you on how to do it. I'm just learning in public, basically. We're making good time today. I mean, what is it? 10 o'clock. I've only been live for 40 minutes, 47 minutes, and we are at cruise. I mean, it used to take me more than that to get the plane started, so it's got to be progress. But yeah, maybe 2024 will be the year of the new PC, seeing as it's going to be the year of the new flight sim. I think what we'll do is get 4,000 up here, so that when the time is right and we reach top of descent, the plane will take us down no lower than 4,000, but it will obey all of these kind of stepping stones on the way down, as it were. I mean, these are dynamically calculated. It's kind of like working out, you see the values are changing, so it's kind of like based on wind, based on current speed, based on conditions. None of these are actually, you must be at 16,913. These are more like predictions of where we're going to be. But sometimes there might be, like Roba, for example, could have been, you must be at 10,000 feet. In which case these would be a lot different, and we would, top of descent would have been calculated to have been sooner. Yeah, thinking back to that, what we saw last night with the 2024 sim, I wonder if there's going to be more of a heavy focus on like ray tracing and stuff. Alright, so it looks like top of descent is about 40 miles away. It is Long Island. I always think of Everyone Loves Raymond whenever I fly over Long Island. What a show that was. Brilliant. I'll try not to, Raz. That sounds like top of descent to me. Oh no, it's not. Not far though. What's the next airplane we're going to get, Nick? Well, I mean, we've got the enhanced Boeings coming out soon, haven't we? It'd be good fun to make some videos with them. And it probably will have to be videos rather than live streams, because the routes that those sort of aircraft fly on, I haven't got time to live stream, but I could make a video for sure. We've got Aerosoft with their A330. The A330 is an interesting one at the minute, because we've got Aerosoft, we've got Headwind, and we've got Headwind also working with PMP to do the A330 CEO. There's a lot of A330s all of a sudden. Quite looking forward to the 777 from PMDG. That's going to be a great plane. Really looking forward to that one. I'm trying to figure out my sort of long form content strategy. Like last night when the Flight Sim 2024 was revealed, there was a part of me that was like, quickly, go make a video reacting to it. But then I don't know how much I enjoy making that sort of content, really. It's okay, I don't mind it. But when I think about what I really like, that's the flying. So maybe I should be making more sort of flying videos. Because not everyone can catch the live streams. I'm well aware of that. So maybe more flying videos that people can just watch that aren't big long live streams, but more maybe condensed videos, edited, chopped down a bit. Maybe that would be good. Hello, I'm new. Are you indeed? Fairly certain you can. There's top of descent. There we go. On our way down now. I use Affinity Designer. Yeah, that's not going to be the case. It'll be okay. Almost all the stuff should work with the new one. It's not actually going to be long, is it, till we need to go to local pressure? Which is 29882. What's the wind doing? 170 and 10. Ooh. That could be fun. Two 982. Two 982, wasn't it? I've forgotten already. I'll have to double check. Oops. Two 982. Yeah, that's right. I was just seeing at what point the plane changes on the display. Like, does it do it on 18,000 on the dot, or does it do it at like 17 and 5, for example? I was curious to see what it did. Thank you for the 2, Rob. Loop the loop start at £200, I'm afraid. Sorry. Actually, 200 seems a bit low. Maybe we should fly some of the jets, like the fighter jets. Ouch. I appreciate the £2 though. Thank you very much indeed. One thing with this whole YouTube donation thing is when people donate in their local currency, I'm just like, I don't even know how much that is. Right. So, JFK is our next waypoint. So basically we're going to fly right over the airfield. Then we keep going, bring ourselves in around to Telex. Final. It should be good. Shed must be toasty. At the moment, where's my thermometer? 23.9 degrees Celsius with 57% humidity. Which isn't too bad. It's when it gets to like 28, 29, 30 that that's when it stops being fun. Apparently Toshiba's the way to go for an aircon unit, according to my aircon fitter brother-in-law anyway, in terms of getting a cost-effective one. Mitsubishi are the expensive ones apparently. Yeah, the sun hasn't come out yet, so it's actually quite pleasant at the moment. Welcome back, Nick. Everything's good, everything's on profile by the look of it. No major struggles at the moment. Yeah, we'll sort of do like a teardrop. So we'll keep going straight and then come on round. Nice and steady. Coming on final. How long have we got? Telex 7. Yes, that's not a particularly long final. That's only like a 6-mile final. There's JFK right in front of us. That's usually where I end up landing. Runway 31 left. Really weird runway, that one, because it's got a big load of like pre-runway before the touchdown zone. I always go lower than I should be because the runway is almost enticing me to go down because it extends so far. Like, sort of start the... What was it? Yeah. So like the concrete or tarmac or whatever starts here, but the touchdown zone isn't until like here. So in my head I'm aiming for like here. You gotta remember that. I think the last time we came in from Boston we landed on this one right here. Instead today we're gonna be on 1-3 left, which is this one I believe. Let's get our heading. Good to go. 277. There's New York being weirdly rendered in the distance. So by the time we get to Telex, which is probably going to be about 15 miles, if we take the shortest route, it wants us at 163 knots. And a landing, we're going to use flaps 30, so it's at 150 knots with a wind correction of +5 knots, so 155. So if we get down to 163, it's nothing to do the last little bit, is it? Yeah, you see, if we go to Telex now, it's going to, like, for whatever reason, it's going to loop us round really quick to almost do a shortcut. Whereas we want to keep heading out this way until this little loop kind of expands so that it looks reasonable. So far, so good, anyway. Start getting that descent down. let's heading select it from here. So I think we're going to stick at 3000 for a moment. See, it's picked up the ILS. ILS frequency is 111.5. Get those on both sides. 1115. Yeah, so the glide slope now is going above us, so we are below the glide slope, which is good. (2,100 feet) is where we're going to end up, hopefully. Get some speed brakes on the go. Oh, I've got landing lights.
2500.
Silly me. Gear down. It's gone all dark all of a sudden, isn't it? This is a very cool route, and I'm not sure it's... obviously I'm vectoring myself here, so we're taking a bit of a sightseeing tour. This is in no way realistic, I'm almost certain. Nevertheless, how cool is this? That's cool. Any which way you cut it, that's cool. Alright, speed intervention. Some lights on. Very dim. Let's get approach mode on. Auto brake 2, gear down. Alright, let's get the cam on. Let's go. Wow, we've got a 20 knot wind. Oh, okay. This ought to be good. This ought to be good. So it's going to be left rudder and right aileron. Blip. This was not what was advertised. At all. That is not fun. Wish me luck, everyone. We're going to need it. Okay. My plane, my controls.
1,000.
Wind would appear to be dying off a little bit, which means we can get over to the left a little bit, reduce the severity of the crab. Airspeed's going a bit low.
500.
It'll be hard.
400.
Getting blown all over the place here.
300. 200. 100. 50. 30, 20, 10.
Oh no, I overflared. Let's go around. Oh, that's so silly. Gear up. Oh, that's annoying. Sorry about the buzzer. Just turn that down until it's gone for you. Rip indeed, overflared. That was looking so good as well. Okay, let's go around again. That was a big fat F. That really was. Okay, let's get our auto throttle on. Heading select. We'll do altitude hold. We'll do 210 knots. Do 220. Oh, that's so close to being good as well. I just pulled back. I felt myself do it. Considering the wind, we managed that really well. Still, never mind. We go again. go again. Okay, so the lesson there is don't overflare. Should have just held the flare. I don't know why I pulled back. It's such a silly thing to do. Never mind. It's done now. We've got the ILS tuned. There are the markers. So we're going to wait for this one to get above us. And then we'll come back around. I'm glad we made the decision to go around. Because otherwise it would have been a rubbish land and I'd been like, oh, another rubbish landing. It would have been way too late. We'd have floated all the way down that runway. So good decision, I think, on the whole. There we go, so this one's coming up now to meet us. So let's start getting our speed under control. Okay, so heading to 130. Gear down. We'll try again. Get our speed to 155. Oh, it's going to yell at me, isn't it? Oh, no, it's not. Alright, flaps 30, auto brakes 2, gear down, lights on. Let's go. Don't over flare it this time. So why do we not have a glide slope yet? Are we just not in range, or is it just going to not do it? It's starting to feel like we should be descending. Yeah, there it is. That's annoying. See if we can recover that.
2,500.
So turning off approach mode and turning it back on again seemed to bring back the glide slope marker on the PFD. So I need to remember that for next time, because that's made us come in a bit the wrong way. Morning, Badger. We're having a bit of a nightmare here this morning. High winds and go-arounds. Plus trying to fly with my left hand, which is never a good idea. Here we go, right. Over to the right, getting blown off the centre line again. And now the winds are dying down. Oh, this is hard.
500. 400.
Okay, the picture looks alright. Keep that nose down.
300.
There are no pappies here.
200.
Okay, do not over flare.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
There it is. Reversers. Oh, my rudder pedals are so sensitive. Let it roll. Hey, we made it. Woo! Right, where should we jump off? Jump off here and go to the left, I would say. I'm always worried I'm going to burst a tyre on this thing. That I will accept. That was a good landing, considering the conditions. More than happy with that. Very, very glad we did the go-around. Otherwise I'd have been kicking myself had we not. Right, now where do we go? Terminal's back there. Guess I should get the APU started. Have I gone the wrong way? I feel like maybe I have. There's not a lot down there, is there? Okay, let's go this way. Feels like we're in the cargo area here. So apparently that landing was 380 feet a minute, which is a bit on the hard side. But at least we got it down. Nothing gets broken under 600 feet. That's what they say, isn't it? 600 feet per minute. Usually I like to see something in the 2s. But I think given conditions, that was a tough landing, that. I really did have to work on that one. Plus it feels so strange flying left-handed. My mistake, I think, when I bought the yoke, I should have gone straight into this position and learnt the yoke left-handed. Where am I even going? I'm lost. Should have picked up the Any Builds version of this when I had the chance. Alright, let's cross over here. Yeah, I should have turned right, clearly, instead of left. But at least we got to do some sightseeing at JFK. We've learned for next time. I'm curious to see the replay of the landing, because to me it felt quite smooth in the cockpit, but sometimes those ones can look smooth, but actually when you play it back, it's a bit like, oh yeah, okay, that wasn't smooth. Looking at the time, I think we're going to struggle to get back to Boston today, so I think we're going to leave it here for the stream. So I thank you all for joining us. Just going to go find us a gate. And we will find us a gate. How do we get across to there properly? like this. Maybe like this. Thanks for the stream, no worries, thank you for coming. Always nice to see you in the chat. A little bit on the short side today really, but I don't have the time to get back properly. And I kind of want to make a video about this new sim. I've kind of got it scripted, I want to get it made, so I've kind of got about 40 minutes I can use to do that, so it's probably going to be a better use of time. While it pains me to cut the stream a bit short, I think that's probably the best thing to do on balance. Parking brake on. Speed brakes down. Put the flaps up. And let's request a jetway. Ground services, request jetway. Whether we get a jetway or not is another question. Okay, that's weird. I am well off the mark. Because look. Yeah, we need to go forward quite a bit. There we go. Okay, let's get power to the plane from the APU because we started that when we came off the runway. Landing lights off. Perfect. So we should be able to kill power to the engines. And there we have it. Well, we made it. I mean, that was probably one of the hardest landings I've done in a while. That was really, really challenging. That wind was not what I expected coming in on final. That was quite a severe crosswind. So glad we made it down on the second go without too much drama. A little bit harder than I would have liked. I'm going to watch the replay back and see if it was as hard as the software is reporting it is. I got the feeling like it was okay in the cockpit. I was actually really pleased with it, but you never know with these things. I think given the windy conditions, it was sensible to get the thing planted on the ground at the expense of a bit of smoothness. So I will give that a thumbs up. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. Hopefully I'll be back tomorrow evening UK time for those that can make it. Probably around 7. As always, I'll try and schedule it so at least you know in advance what's going on. But until then, take the very best care of yourselves. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.